Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Max the Curse of Brotherhood. Let's continue. So this is probably going to be a fairly short escape sequence considering the name is Sliding Escape. So we'll probably rush through this level and then the next one. Of course it could be long because it could be very much a case of a Why is there a swing spot here? Yeah. Seems like the game consistently wants to have swing spots or escape sequences with the same guy. Alright. Okay, I think we've got it here. It wants me to bring the turtle guy with the spikes that come out of his shell up. And I guess what we'll do here is we'll just trap it. And then we're going to draw kind of a zigzag here. And he almost pushed that whole branch out of the wrong direction. Of course, as soon as this guy gets to where we want him to be here, we should at that point jump and swing and just get out of the way, which means we have to just hope nothing went wrong. Perhaps they had gotten bored with the escape sequences somewhat. It is an interesting thought as far as how were you going to ever fight back against that character anyways. We'll go and grab this. And I guess we've seen one way. It seems like that's awfully a lot of room. Yeah, I don't know if I can actually get from point A to point B, because there's a collectible up there and there's an eyeball. There's an eyeball here, there's a collectible here, which that I guess effectively tells you that I'm going to walk out of this next area and be done with the entire game.
Nice job,
or done with the entire level. Clearly, also, those collectibles, as far as the secret collectibles, are not numbered in a specific way that you're getting a specific piece based on the level you're in. It seems like you're just getting the next piece that they would want to give you. So we've hit another checkpoint there at 38 out of 75, which I guess is about the halfway point. It's a mistake that they named this character Max when you are going to make a number 5 or a letter S fairly often to climb up with these branches. it would make so much more sense for the character's name to be Sam. Alright. Can we get a triple jump here? Or do I need to step up? I think it's probably easier just to do that again. Right. And we'll just grab it and drag it. And he does have like infinite amounts of strength, as it were. As far as pulling, so that is just like everything in that level. So if there is a chase sequence here, it is just going to be a long chase sequence. A long chase sequence where with probably not much of a checkpoint system. Jump over this, jump over this, jump over this, jump and draw, jump and then jump. They had to know that at least for some percentage of players, particularly kid players, this was not going to work, and that this was going to be a nightmare situation where you're just not going to be able to succeed. I hit another checkpoint, which that's nice. But it's so easy to miss a jump. This has really nothing to do with puzzle platforming, and this is just action platforming. What I often would call frustration platforming, because it is just designed around you dying a lot of times. Notice there's no limit in lives, there's no death counter, there's no clock, because they know the average player is going to fail miserably. Oops. You just have to draw that perfectly. Just draw it directly towards Max. Unfortunately, it has been made fairly standard that any kind of platforming game out there does tend to become a frustration platformer, where the game is full of spikes and full of deaths, and that is that. Like that is the only type of gameplay. There is no puzzling around it at all. I'm surprised I actually survived there. And that was a case where I did the right thing and still died. And then apparently I did the wrong thing and died. So you're supposed to make that jump, and then it's not supposed to matter that you made the jump. Then you're supposed to fling yourself up well past that point, and I just don't see how you're gonna make that swing. Like, one, and then it just breaks, and then you fall. So you are supposed to, in one swing, jump. Am I doing something wrong here? Obviously, but what is it? And this is gonna suck if we did all the puzzle platforming stuff and it still was not enough, and then we spent the next like 20 minutes trying to get through that section. Now that's interesting that we saw a lantern there.
Wetlands, Max. Once they were fields, then Mustachio cursed the sky.
So, this is gonna be wet?
You are close to the sacred pool. Here your weapon will receive the most powerful gift yet.
So, Sacred Pool, a slightly longer level. Do we drown in water? Well, I can't even go left if I wanted to. Interesting that the further left I walk, the further the camera zooms out. Let's see.
What to do here?
Squeeze it just a little bit. I guess that works. I don't think that was quite what I was supposed to do. Yeah, unfortunately, almost every game that gets released on Steam that's a platforming game is a frustration platformer. Games like Super Meat Boy, 1001 Spikes really became popular enough that people would just follow and copy them and clone them over and over again. And there are good versions of precision platformers and what I call frustration platformers, but not a lot of them, and none of them really work for me. I have a bit of arthritis in my hand, so mashing a button a lot often causes my thumb to hurt. My thumb's hurting a little bit now after that last sequence. And so there is less of a there's just no way that I could really play those types of games. This may be the first instance of finding out if you drown. Well, branches apparently float, and you can surf on them. I had no indication that that is what was going to happen at all. Let's see. Okay. Those all explode. So unless there was some way you could draw something like that and protect yourself. I don't really see... Well, I guess you could do that. I guess that's the trick. Is you draw a long stick here, you come over here, you wait for it to fall, jump down, and jump over here and grab that. And then that leaves you doing the same thing again. Yeah, I really didn't think about platform surfing on branches as being kind of a thing. Like, there's yet another eyeball. They're coming fast now. Yeah, part of the problem, certainly with precision platformers, or even the ones that are like revered and are really good, are still way too frustrating for me. Even like Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, 3, like Super Mario World, all of those are games that I ambitiously would like to play, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not even pushing anything on the controller now. This is just a cutscene. But yeah, I'm honestly not sure I could beat any Super Mario Brothers game nowadays. I've done it in the past when I was younger and didn't have arthritis in my hands, but yeah, again, not pushing anything on the controller at all. How many collectibles are left? There's one secret and 2 eyeballs. Did we ever figure out if falling in the water means you die? Yes. But apparently not as horrifically as some of the other death sequences. And some of the newer platforming games definitely, like Super Meat Boy, do deserve their accolades, but they just are not, I think, a game that most people play to completion or most people want to play at all. Alright, so now we have the blue indicator, which I immediately learned that there is a danger around that it will potentially fling you in dangerous directions. I feel like there's an eyeball here. But if I do this and then tap Y, when the camera zoomed in, it showed me there wasn't one. And see, this is really just supposed to be a tutorial to say, hey, this flings you. And that's going to be very, very powerful as something that can just redirect you / fling you in the air. The redirection in particular is a major factor there. Because you really haven't had the ability so far to redirect yourself. It also gives you an air cushion, or a water cushion to be more accurate. Let's see what's up here. Secret.
Another piece. Well done.
Yeah, because the fact that I'm missing pieces, if each piece that was collected was specifically linked to one piece in that mosaic, then there would be pieces missing, obviously. Alright. Fling yourself as far as possible towards the other one to fling yourself that way. In a lot of ways, this also potentially breaks the gameplay up until this point. So, I wonder... Like, he can't climb up there.
You are not the only thing that can be carried by water, you know.
Alright. So there's an eyeball in this cave. Oddly, in video games, that there has been a fairly consistent level of disconnect between different types of gamers. Like, we really are not a united front or community in the thing that defines a Halo bro that loves to play Halo first-person militaristic shooter type games is not the same type of person, for the most part, generally speaking, as somebody who's interested into a puzzle platformer. The person who is into playing real-time strategy games is, for the most part, not the same person who's interested in playing visual novels. Video games are the equivalent of movies, and fans of horror movies are not the same as fans of romance movies, even though there are certainly people that would be fans of both. Same is also true for video games. But the general point there is people get called gamers when that kind of doesn't really mean anything. Interesting. So we're going to introduce the idea of more slippery surfaces. And I have to get a little higher, otherwise I'm getting hit by the water, which means I potentially am not going to make the jump. So instead, let's get rid of that so that we can stay lower. Why do I need to get to this jump? Just to collect one more eyeball. And so my point there in mentioning that all gamers are not the same is to say, well, for the people that are fans of the frustration style of precision platformers, there is that fandom, certainly, but then there are also fans of puzzle platformers, and I'm more of a fan of puzzle platformers. So when you mix the two, as they have done here, let's see what this does. You're making a fairly large mistake and a fairly large assumption that all platforming is good platforming for players. And since this game does come off a lot like a... Alright, I have no idea how to get past this then. Like, that could shoot me maybe a little bit in that direction, which I doubt that's the goal. I don't think this is gonna work either. Best case scenario, you go straight down and then straight up. You go straight up and over, straight up and over, up and over. If that's going to play any role at all, it is going to be something like that. Problem now is I've got to draw this as it's flowing. So you practically have to get it right. Otherwise you're going to fail. This might be a great point where the game actively remembering where you've placed things in between checkpoints would be very helpful. And we've got all the secrets and collectibles, so I assume we're very close to the end of the level. Although oddly, this is now going to be... Let's see what happens if we tear that down. Nothing. Alright. Yeah, it's just easier to redraw this so it's static. Okay. And we'll just have to figure out if that's high enough. I guess that was. Like last time we were underground, there was a lot of puzzles that didn't really connect to any of the other puzzles above ground. This time it feels like almost every puzzle is now going to be recontextualized with this new ability. And the wetlands has been sorely underused now because there's just not anywhere that we'll go. I imagine that we won't have a solution involving the wetlands. And barely a mix there between using the surfing and the branches and the water ability.
The warm caves are not far now. From there, you can enter the dungeons where Mustachio has imprisoned Felix.
Great.
Yeah.
More caves.
At this point, I've forgotten that Felix was even the name of the brother. So, yeah, this next level looks to be a little bit longer, but we'll leave that certainly for the next recording. Yeah, it definitely feels like we spent way too much time in the forest, way too much time underground, way too much time in the desert. If we were just going to rush through entire sections of levels this quickly. Because, yeah, that, particularly for the wetlands, you spent about half of one level in the wetlands. And seems like we'll be out of the wetlands and then into the warm caves. And then immediately, or fairly quickly out of the warm caves into the dungeons, which I assume the dungeons will be close to the end. I bet we don't fight that big bad guy ever again, or see him ever again. I bet he doesn't chase us, and instead we'll have to do a chase sequence with Mustachio at the end. I doubt there will be any other kind of fight mechanics. Although you could see potentially using the water ability to fling bricks up in the air and hit somebody in the head. I don't know if they're really going to get that ambitious. In fact, I'm not sure how ambitious they're really going to get at all. I think even the makers of these levels at this point are starting to show a desire to just wrap things up, since everything's moving so fast. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get a game off my wish list. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.